Your phone screen cracks in a parking lot on a Tuesday. First week at a new job. 13 years from now, one of you is worth over $700,000. The other one is still leasing a car. Same starting point, same crack, same week. And right now, today, you cannot tell which one you're looking at. Someone else drops their phone that same week. Same lot. You don't know them yet, but you will. Because this is the story of two people who start in the exact same place, with the exact same paycheck and the exact same kind of account, and end up in two completely different lives, without either one of them ever making one big decision. No big moment, no lottery ticket, no inheritance, just a cracked screen and two different ways of dealing with it. One of you tapes it up and keeps walking. The other drives to the mall that afternoon and walks out with a new phone. Financed. $52 a month. Neither one of you thinks anything happened. You're wrong. Something just happened. This is what nobody tells you at 22. The crack was never the story. What you did about the crack, that's the story. And in 2026, almost everyone who looks rich is financed, and almost everyone who's actually rich looks like nothing at all. You're 22. First real paycheck just hit. $16.50 after taxes. You both work at the same place, a health insurance company off Charlotte Pike, Nashville. Marketing coordinators. Same title, same cubicle row, same orientation, same badge photo taken 20 minutes apart. By Friday, you're both standing in the parking lot after your shift. Phone in your hand, you go to unlock it, it slips. Corner hits the pavement. Screen cracks right across the top, you laugh. Not because it's funny. Because what else are you gonna do? Here's where it splits. You keep the crack, you put a $2 screen protector over it from the gas station down the street. You tell yourself you'll deal with it later when there's room in the budget. There isn't room yet, that's fine. You keep walking. The other, you does something different. Same day, same crack. Drives straight to the mall. Walks into the Apple store on lunch break the next day. Walks out with a new phone. Financed through a firm. 24 months, $52 a month. It feels good immediately. That's the whole point of it. Nobody in the office notices either decision, not one person. That's the part that matters. Nobody's watching. Nobody's keeping score. You're the only one who knows what just happened. You open a checking account that same month. Basic. No fees yet, because your balance is too small for the bank to care one way or the other. You get a credit card offer in the mail. $24.99 APR, standard for someone with 6 months of credit history and no track record. Neither of you uses it yet. The one with the cracked screen puts $200 into a Roth IRA that first month. Doesn't know exactly why. Read somewhere that you're supposed to. The one with the new phone doesn't open one. Not yet. There's $52 a month already spoken for. $52. That's it. That's the whole difference this month. Not a car, not a house. $52 and a decision about a crack in some glass. Neither of you feels rich. Neither of you feels behind. You both feel exactly the same amount of nothing. The crack didn't cost anything. The decision about the crack did. 2 years pass. Same job, different title. Marketing coordinator then senior coordinator. $58,000 now, both of you. Your car situation is falling apart. Both of you, same month, need a new one. Here's where it splits again. You call your aunt. She's got a 2016 Civic sitting in her driveway, 110,000 miles. Runs fine. She wants $7,800 for it. You empty the savings account, pay cash. Drive it home that same Saturday. No payment, no paperwork with your name on a loan. Just a car and a slightly smaller bank account. The other you goes a different way. Walks into a dealership on a Thursday after work. Leaves with a Jeep Compass. New. $389 a month, 36 months. The sales guy calls it a smart move, says something about needing to look put together for client meetings. That part's not wrong exactly. It's just not the whole truth either. Monday morning, parking lot. A coworker named Priyanka walks by the Civic. Not mean about it, just curious. Whose car is this? You tell her it's yours. She laughs a little, asks if it's got AC. It does. She walks off. You don't think about it again. Not that day, not that week. The other you parks the Jeep 2 rows over. Nobody asks whose car that is. Nobody has to. That's the thing about the Jeep. It already answered the question before anyone could ask it. Here's the number though. The one nobody's doing in that parking lot. $389 a month. Invested instead at 7% for 25 years, turns into roughly $300,000. Not the car. The payment. What the payment could have become if it went somewhere else. You open a Roth IRA around now too. The other you, the Jeep one. $150 a month. Automatic. Feels responsible. Feels like catching up. It is catching up, just from further back than it looks. By the end of this year, the Civic version of you has about $4,300 sitting between savings and that Roth account. The Jeep version of you has about negative $6,100 once you count the lease and the second credit card that covered the deposit. Nobody at work knows either number. Not Priyanka, not your manager, not each other, even though you eat lunch together most days. You're the same age, same salary, same building. One of you is $4,300 ahead, the other is $6,100 behind. The gap right now is $9,500. That's not the story yet. The story is that neither of you can see it, not in the parking lot, not at lunch, not anywhere a person could actually look. 26 now. Another raise, both of you sitting around $68,000. Time to move. Leases are up the same month because of course they are. Civic you finds a studio 10 minutes from work, $950 a month. One room, a hot plate, a window that looks at a parking garage. It's fine, it's not supposed to impress anybody. It's supposed to cost $950. Jeep you find something else, a high-rise downtown. Gym on the 3rd floor. Rooftop with a view of the river, $1,650 a month. You use the gym 7 times the first month, twice the second. You stop counting after that. Here's a Sunday, a few months in. Jeep, you hosts brunch on the rooftop. 4 friends, mimosas, avocado toast, the whole thing. Somebody gets a good angle of the skyline for a story. The bill is $91 a head. Goes on a card that's already carrying a balance from last month. You post it anyway. It looks like something. Same Sunday, 10 minutes away. Civic, you gets coffee alone at a place with 3 tables. Nobody takes a picture. Nobody's there to take one. Nobody sees this coffee. That's not a loss. That's just what it is, a coffee on a Sunday that nobody needed to see. Here's the part that doesn't show up in either apartment. Every time the rooftop brunch gets posted, there's a little pressure sitting underneath it. Next month has to be just as good. Maybe better. Nobody says this out loud. It's just there, quiet, waiting for the next Sunday. The studio doesn't have that problem. Nothing's waiting on it. Nobody's checking. Meanwhile, the bank's already started treating you differently, and you don't even know it yet. Civic U's account fee, the one that used to run $12 a month, just stopped showing up. No letter, no call. The bank system saw a steady direct deposit and quietly waived it. Jeep you gets a letter around the same time. A new credit card offer. The 3rd one, pre-approved. Same bank, same month. 2 completely different letters going to 2 completely different apartments. By the end of this year, the studio has about $19,400 sitting across savings and investments. The high-rise has $3,100 saved and $8,900 owed across 2 cards. You're 26. You both still think this is close. It's not close anymore. It just hasn't been said out loud yet. 28. Same week both of you get the same news from 2 different dentists. Wisdom tooth has to come out. Impacted apparently, which is dentist speak for this is going to cost more than you'd like. After insurance, it's $1,140. Both of you. Same number. Here's where it splits. Civic, you pay it from a savings account you built for exactly this. Not a big account? $3,800 sitting there, doing nothing but waiting for something like this to happen. You hand over a debit card at the front desk. 5 minutes. Done. Nobody even remembers the number by the time you're in the car. Jeep, you doesn't have $3,800 sitting anywhere. The front desk offers care credit. 0% for 18 months, they say. Sounds fine. You sign. What they don't say loud enough, what's sitting in paragraph 4 of the paperwork, is what happens if it's not paid off by month 18. The interest doesn't start then, it goes back to day 1. All of it. 26.99%. Retroactive. You don't read paragraph 4. Nobody reads paragraph 4. Both of you go home the same afternoon. Same swelling, same ice pack, same bag of frozen peas on the jaw because nobody actually owns an ice pack at 28. Same pain. That part's identical. The bill afterward is not. 18 months later, one of you paid $11.40 and forgot about it. The other one is still paying, except now it's not $11.40 anymore. It's closer to $1,500 because month 19 showed up and nobody was watching for it. Neither one of you talks about wisdom teeth, why would you? But this is the moment the system starts actually noticing the difference between you, not the parking lot, not the apartment. This, a dentist's office, an ice pack, a piece of paperwork nobody reads. Pain is the same for both of you. The bill afterward is not. 31 now. Both of you still at the same company, believe it or not. People leave. You two just stayed. Something happens this year that nobody in the office will ever know about. Civic, you crosses $50,000. Across the Roth, the 401k, a small brokerage account you started almost by accident 3 years back. $50,000. Sitting there. Nobody at work knows this number exists. Same year, something good happens to GPU. A real win, not a fake one. The Compass Tesla before it, 3 years of showing up polished to client dinners, it actually mattered. A client mentions to your director unprompted that you're the reason they renewed. You get promoted. Senior account manager, salary jumps to $72,000. Your dad drives up from Chattanooga that weekend, sees the Tesla in the driveway, and just stands there for a second looking at it. Doesn't say much. Doesn't need to. You can tell he's proud, and it's not about the car exactly, it's about what the car is supposed to mean. That feeling is real. Nobody's faking that feeling. Money bought that moment with your dad, plain and simple, and it worked. This is the part that's easy to miss if you're rooting for the wrong person to win. GPU isn't reckless, isn't careless. The car helped. The confidence helped. The promotion is real, and it's earned. Here's what happens next, though. The raise shows up in October. By November, the apartment gets an upgrade. A one-bedroom now, $400 more a month. Because a senior account manager probably shouldn't still be splitting a wall with strangers at a rooftop building. That part feels fair too. The Tesla lease renews at a slightly higher tier the same month. Nicer trim. The old one's fine, but the new one has the thing where the door handles come out on their own. And that's a small thing. But small things add up when there's suddenly more room in the budget to say yes to them. By December, the extra $14,000 a year is already spoken for. Not on anything foolish. Just on a version of life that grew exactly as fast as the raise did. There's a new manager now. Guy named Declan, transferred in from the Memphis office. Runs a team meeting one Thursday, asks everybody half joking what their retirement plan looks like. Civic U gives a vague answer. Something about working on it. No number attached. Jeep U, freshly promoted, says, I'm planning on dying at this desk but in a nicer chair now. The room laughs. It's a good line. It's also not entirely a joke. By year's end, Civic U sits around $61,000 combined. Jeep U, even with the raise, especially with the raise, sits around negative $11,000 once you count the new lease tier and the upgraded apartment. The promotion was real. The extra money was real. It just moved through the same door it always moves through, and out the other side just as fast. 34. You've both moved on from the insurance company by now. Different jobs, better titles. Still in Nashville. A group dinner early in the year. 6 people, 1 table, the bill comes and somebody has to grab it first. Civic U takes it, taps the card before anyone can argue. Somebody across the table says, I'll Venmo you, already reaching for their phone. No rush, you say. That's it. That's the whole sentence. Nobody at that table thinks about it again. It's not a moment. It's not supposed to be. That's kind of the point. The money did its job, and nobody had to notice it happening. A few months later, Civic U has a cousin, Marisol, getting married in the spring, out at a venue off Franklin Road that wants a $2,000 deposit locked in by Friday or the date's gone. Marisol calls, a little embarrassed, and asks if you confront it. She'll pay you back after the wedding fund clears. You say yes before she finishes the sentence. You don't mention what's actually in your accounts. Not because you're hiding anything, just because it never comes up, and it doesn't need to. She says thank you in a way that's heavier than the sentence itself. You change the subject to flowers. Same year, different phone call. Jeep? You gets asked the same kind of question. A close friend, tight on rent this month, needs $300 till payday. You want to say yes. You almost do. Then you do the math in your head, fast, the way you've gotten good at doing it. Rent's due. The Tesla payment cleared Tuesday. There's $90 of breathing room until Friday, and Friday's not guaranteed either. You say you're a little tight this month. That's true. It's just not true for the reason your friend thinks it is. They say no worries, they ask somebody else. Nothing dramatic happens. No fight, no confrontation. Just a small, quiet moment where you find out something about where you actually stand. Here's the thing nobody says at either of these moments. Civic U isn't happier because of a $2,000 deposit or a dinner bill covered without a second thought, isn't proud, isn't showing off, isn't thinking about it again by the next morning. It's just, the money didn't need anyone to notice it, to already be worth something. It did its job quietly, the way it's been doing its job for 12 years now. Jeep, you isn't a bad person for saying no. Isn't careless, isn't lazy, isn't any of the words that get thrown around. It's just that somewhere back at a mall, at 22, a decision got made about what money was for. And that decision has been quietly running the background every year since, showing up exactly when it's least convenient. This is the first time it costs something real. Not a car payment. A friendship? Just slightly. A small crack in it? The kind that doesn't heal wrong, just heals a little different. 38. Both of you still in Nashville. Different companies now, but the same kind of Tuesday morning email shows up in both inboxes. 10 weeks into a year, the market decided to fall apart. The S&P drops 18% over 10 weeks. Every account, every portfolio, every retirement plan in the country takes the same hit at the same time. And then, worse timing than either of you could have written yourselves. Layoffs, both companies, same quarter. Neither of you saw it coming, because nobody ever does. Here's where it splits. And this time it splits hard. Civic U gets the layoff call on a Thursday. $400 still goes into the brokerage account that same week, automatic like it's done every month for 16 years. Nobody canceled it. Nobody thought to. There's an emergency fund sitting exactly where it's supposed to be. 6 months of expenses, untouched since it was built. You live off it while you look. It's not fun. It's not supposed to be fun. It's just there, doing the one job it was built for. You call the bank about something unrelated, a fee that shouldn't have hit. Somebody picks up in under a minute, fixes it in the same call. No hold music, no script. Jeep, you gets the same kind of call, same week, different building. There's no 6-month cushion. There's a Tesla lease that just came up for renewal, and a credit score that took a hit from years of running balances, so the renewal isn't approved. The car has to go back. The 401k has to get touched. Early withdrawal, 10% penalty, plus taxes, plus the fact that this money was supposed to have 30 more years to grow, and now it doesn't. You call the bank too. 40 minutes on hold. Somebody reads from a screen. Nothing gets solved on that call. You call back the next day. Nobody in either headquarters knows what's happening in these two apartments right now. It's not a headline. It's not a story anyone's telling at either job. It's just two people, same age, same kind of bad month, having two completely different bad months. By the time the market comes back, and it does come back, it always does eventually, here's where the numbers sit. Civic U, around $210,000. Down from where it was, sure. But still standing, still growing, still doing what it's supposed to do. Around $6,000. Which is almost exactly where this whole thing started, 16 years ago, in a parking lot with a cracked phone screen. Same bad month, same layoff, same falling market. One of you came out of it bruised, the other one came out of it back at zero. 45 now. 23 years since a parking lot off Charlotte Pike. Old coworkers put together a reunion, half company alumni, half people who just kept in touch. A brewery downtown, the kind with picnic tables outside. You both show up. Civic U pulls in driving the same Honda. Not the same one exactly. This is the second Civic, bought used again 7 years ago, cash again. 145,000 miles on it now. Still runs. Still starts every morning without a second thought. Jeep, you pull in a few minutes later and something new. An SUV, this year's model, financed, the 5th lease in 23 years if anyone was counting, which nobody is. Priyanka's there. Older now, kids, still funny. She spots the Civic in the lot and laughs. "Man, you've always driven the most beat-up cars I've ever seen," she says, not unkindly, the kind of thing you say to someone you've known long enough to say it. Civic, you just laughs too. "Yeah, guess so." Doesn't explain. Doesn't need to. Lets it sit exactly where she left it. Inside, people ask the questions people ask at reunions. How's work? How's the family? How's life been treating you? Somebody asks Jeep, you how things are going, and the answer comes out warm, easy, a little impressive sounding. New car, new title at work, a trip to Portugal planned for the fall. On a card, but nobody needs to know that part. The room nods along. Sounds like somebody who's doing well. Somebody asks Civic you the same question. The answer is smaller. Good, same car, believe it or not? A laugh. Nothing else offered. Nobody follows up. Nobody asks the actual number. Nobody in that brewery has any idea that the person with the same old Civic just crossed $780,000, quietly, sometime last spring, on a Tuesday that came and went like every other Tuesday. Nobody asks, so nobody corrects the room. That's not modesty. It's just that the money never needed the room to know it was there. It's been doing its job without an audience for 23 years. Asking for one now wouldn't change what it's already worth. Later in the parking lot, the phone comes out to call a ride. Same crack, more or less, in the top corner of the screen. Not sharp anymore, just worn, smooth from an old case that's never been replaced, because there was never really a reason to. Nobody in that brewery could have told you back at 22 which one of you this would turn out to be. That's the part that should still bother you. You didn't build money. You built the version of yourself that never needed anyone to see it. Somewhere in Nashville right now, it's a Tuesday. Somebody's 22. First week at a new job. Phone slips out of a pocket in a parking lot. Corner hits the concrete, screen cracks. They don't know yet what they're about to do about it. Tape it up or drive to the mall. Nobody's watching either way. The crack is the same for everyone. What happens next never is.